Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Stroke, Staying Clean. And today's Monday, the beginning of the week. I hope that y'all had a great weekend. And today we're going to talk about we all are suffering for something. We all are. And in my recovery, when I relieve the drugs from my situation, I was still broken. I was still hurting. I was still in pain. Why? The drug I'm not using anymore. So why am I not getting better? Why am I not feeling like I'm okay? Why am I not feeling like I'm moving forward? Why am I not feeling like my life is getting better? It's because the drug was only the symptom and masking the problem that I needed to face. So I had to do some research. And in my recovery, I found out that we all are suffering from something. We could be suffering from our parents getting a divorce, and we may feel that it may be our fault because we're young and we're immature and we don't know better, and we're feeling that way because this is the way we're looking at things. Or we may feel angry because the parent has left us and it makes us feel like we're not loved by that parent. So we feel a certain way. Or there has something that happened in our lives that is traumatic that causes us to feel a certain way. These are all things that can happen to an individual. And if I do not address these issues that are serious, that affected me on the inside, mentally and emotionally, then I'm not going to get well. And these things will live rent free in my head, causing me to make decisions based on these feelings and a situation that I did not get rid of. So, what should I do? In recovery, they say, get rid of the wreckage of your past, to face your fears of the past, to look at what part you played in the situation and what part the other person played in it and what they did. And when you look at it that way, then you clean the wreckage of your past because you're not responsible for anybody else's, only yourself. So when you approach a person about cleaning the wreckage of your past and the part that you played in it, they have a right to accept what you say or reject what you say. But the interesting thing is that a lot of people, when I did that, they rejected me, called me everything but the child of God. Most of them have. And I was okay with that because for the first time, I honestly came to you, expressed what I did and how the situation affected me and how I acted that way at that particular time and where my mindset was. And you didn't even try to understand why I was feeling that way and why I acted that way. I'm trying to understand why you acted the way you did and did what you did. But instead of us working to a solution to the situation of the past, you are rejecting me. And I'm good with that because Robert cleaned the side of his street. You choose not to. So I'm making sure that these things don't live rent free in my head. So I can move on. And when I started cleaning the wreckage of my past, when I started dealing with the things that were so sensitive, that hurt me so deeply, that I grew and I started feeling good about myself. And I started having boundaries. See, when I started standing up for my things of my past and the things that I've done, then I was able to make boundaries to protect myself from falling victim to my addiction or falling down the rabbit hole of creating the same type of atmosphere that I did in the past. So by me cleaning the wreckage of my past made me stand up for myself even more. It made me respect myself even more. It made me look at myself in a better light. It made me understand that we all are faulty people. So here's an interesting thing that I found out. And I found it that I've done it myself. And I had to call myself on it. That when I find out what works for Robert, that it's good, and I'm helping and being honest about my actions, then I've changed my behavior. I expect everybody else to change their behavior to do the right thing. That is so faulty because the only person I got control over is Robert. And by me trying to push my views and my feelings down your throat because it works for me, and to judge you for your actions because this is working for me, I'm not understanding that I'm making you feel that you're less than, that you better do it this way, but I'm not looking at the situation in the proper manner. And recovery says, Robert, your program is your program. What works for you, Robert, may not work for another person. So you don't have the right to judge another person about their recovery because their path is their path, your path is your path. We get together and we share with each other our strength and our hopes. We share what works for us in our recovery. We share what doesn't work for us. So by we sharing this information, we're saying to ourselves that, listen, if you do this, this might happen, this might happen. And this person said this might happen. Then this person said this may happen. Then this person said that may happen. And that information gives you a broader outlook on the problem of solving the situation that fits you. So you can make a sound decision. So living life on life's terms taught me that I can't tell somebody what they need to do to make their life better. I can tell a person, well, listen, if you do this, this, and this happens, this will happen. I'm not going to be involved because these things may happen, and I don't want to be involved in these things if they happen. So I'd rather not take that chance or do that. And that's explaining your situation. But sometimes what people do for themselves, it may work out for them. It may be their best thing for them to do. I don't know. But I know that that situation doesn't work for Robert. So Robert's not going to do it. And that's how we have to approach each and every one of us. I don't stop loving a person because they choose the wrong path with their life. I just hurt on the inside because I hate to see people hurt themselves or make life difficult for themselves by the choices that they make. But by me saying you shouldn't do this because you stupid, you don't got no kind of sense. You're going to do some stupid stuff like that, and that's not going to solve the problem. That's not going to make a person do the right thing. But if you give them the choices that these things can happen and you leave it up to them and let them find out on their own understanding, they may listen to what you have to say. Then they may take it to heart. That may change their behavior. But if you're looking down on them and trying to put yourself on a pedestal because you've been making the right choices and everything's been working out for you, that's not going to solve the problem and it's not going to make it better for them. So, in my recovery, I learned that we're all imperfect people. We all faulty people. We all have suffered from something, whether it's a breakup in a relationship or whether a person is cheating, whether you lose your job and your family's suffering, whether your family did something to you, you was mugged, you was robbed, you was hurt, whatever the case may be, we all experience some type of pain and hurt in our lives. And in recovery, we must address each situation that happens to us and forgive the person that did what they did, forgive ourselves for allowing this situation to happen, and then give it to a power greater than ourselves, which I choose to call as God, and give it to God and allow God to do the healing. And I will share about it until it doesn't hurt anymore. And that's what I was taught in recovery. Share about it until it doesn't hurt anymore. Share it until it doesn't hurt anymore. And do the same process until you actually do it on the inside. Forgive the person that did it. Keep doing it until you actually do it, until you feel it, until you understand that the process has worked and you're not carrying any of the weight of the pain and the remorse of the situation. So today, I was saying we're all suffering for something. We're all experiencing some type of pain or some type of hurt in our lives. The answer to that situation is for us to grow from the situation, heal from the situation, and don't run from the situation. Face it, feel the pain, feel the hurt, feel the remorse, forgive the other person, forgive yourself, allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to let it go and give it to a power greater than you, which I choose to give it to God. And when I do that, usually I usually write it down on a piece of paper and burn it, and then I don't have it no more. And it seems like it really works that I let it go, and I share about it a few times. And after that, it's not an issue anymore. It doesn't have no weight over me. It doesn't make me feel bad. It doesn't block me for having boundaries to protect my peace, protect my happiness, to protect my recovery. So, when you get up in the morning and you may be happy in the good spirits, or you may be sad because you're going through, understand this. We all are facing something that's traumatic in our lives that we have to deal with, that we have to face, that we have to overcome. So understand this, you're not alone in your journey of dealing with trauma and situations that are painful. We all have to deal with it one time or another in our recovery and living life on life's terms. I understand that there are periods of time where my life is so peaceful and so quiet, and then there's one problem after another problem after another problem, and usually they come in threes. And it feels like it's being overwhelmed and things can't get done and can't get done quick enough and got to jump through all these hoops and all these things. And what I learned is that they're just situations. They're not actual problems, they're situations. Because all we have to do is just do the work and they will materialize as long as we work for them. I'm going to leave you with this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change people, places, or things. Change the things I can, which is me. But have the wisdom to know the difference. You have a great and wonderful day.